basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Verbiage changed to now it says it's all inclusive, so it no longer says dominated language.
What is that will drop a shadow? You better drop your gun.
With them to get that passed.
What is that will drop a shadow?
Texas.
You better drop your gun. It's not a loss, I really want to. It's not a sport now. Never heroes on the ground. Gotta talk about how it tastes.
Yeah, that's all the Yeah, you don't want to nail things. Totally get it. I figured as much, and that's why I went ahead and I pulled up all the stuff. And like her story, we'll just let her tell her story. Because like,
you better drop your gun.
Same person.
Heard his voice will blow your eyes. You better drop your gun.
How it came about and what kind of things.
In this world of refurbished plastic, you fought with me, falsely hard on.
And I wore my Pink Berets shirt.
That is so mad.
I got this shirt.
Take a pause in the air. Heroes on the ground, gotta tell about how it is. By the bird that they surely knew, that they surely knew.
They didn't.
Spread a board and set on fire. The youngest soul rush, speed gets higher. Attack the new generation.
And then I have a Pink Berets like but I mean, they're little. And then they did a bunch of me and my daughter together because they were like, generations kind of thing. It was kind of cool. It was really neat. They gave us all makeovers, like the whole day fed us, gave us makeovers, did our hair, makeup. It was really cool. She's neat. And she's like super involved. And
try just to get
and veterans in general. She's just
the core of your unconscious crimes. Far from the peaks of the world, in records of the center stone. Open all the doors. Leave yourself in the one last room.
okay.
Forever.
I love that. I love that. See, that's why we get along so good, yo. By the way, how you doing, Grace, since your fall?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. We can do you first, and then we'll do the second half. We'll do the rest of our show. Either way, it's fine. Yeah, they definitely were mixed, but I know you're all the way in
looking at daylight and police and knocking all night. One by one, I hold your hand. They
Oh,
drop,
perfect.
then
Okay,
they
yeah.
get in. Burn that bridge and burn this land. With bullets
okay,
and
girl.
gin. Anyway, we're gonna die. One moment, forever. After that, I never stop. Can't get enough. Anyway, we're gonna die. Right now, I fear nothing at all.
You know, with the time changes and everything, it is completely.
Oh my gosh.
understandable.
Yeah, and it's been a lot. I've been traveling quite a bit. And so now it's like-
See my down and better mirrors. Gotta feel thank for bad memories. That is one hell of a killer.
I
That's what it feels like.
Out of my misery. One by one, I hold your hand.
Well,
They
so I-
drop, then they get in. Burn that bridge and burn this land. With bullets and gin. Anyway, we're gonna die. One moment, forever. After that, I never stop. Can't get enough. Anyway, we're gonna die.
I only have one
Right
dog,
now, I fear nothing at all.
I'm not used to this.
but I'm basically. Oh my god!
Yeah, that's me. Onyx is
So what are you doing in DC right now? This time? Hey, they can talk to me if they want to. Accidental, since COVID hasn't done any of this.
Right now, I fear nothing at all.
And so really
Mhm.
trying to get them to see the big picture.
Oh yeah.
But you'd be surprised the kind of responses that we get.
Oh, I'm not.
But I stay
Nothing.
focused.
Nothing
Yeah.
surprises me anymore.
No, it doesn't.
No, not when at 51 I went in for my appointment, my women's health appointment, and I have been begging for a partial hysterectomy. And they're like, yeah, but you're like perimenopausal. I mean, just a few more years and you won't have to worry about it at all. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not your body. It's mine. I don't That is hilarious.
I'm like, I'm not laughing at you.
Oh, no, I know.
I just got sweat in my face.
See, look, we're going to have the pet of the week, even though it's not unexcited by it. Right?
I'm going to take that as Onyx.
Oh, wait a minute. They can hear us. Jake?
Oh, I
Stephanie, I
know.
wanted it.
Take it slow in the summertime. He's got the radio up and his leather boots on, and he rides through the deepness and the darkness of his skeletal inside the sunrise. He's alive, but he can't take his eyes off the empty tin cans as they shine.
That shirt is so Steph Merlot on her team.
She did it,
Project
right?
from stem to stern. She did, right? So
She
she
did.
really, yeah, she really followed through on design concept and just, bringing our vision to life. And so she's our chief development officer, and so she works, with our initiatives. And so when Grandstyle brought us the initiative, or the campaign, I should say, Steph took ownership of it, and we
She did
ended
a
up.
great job.
She
Oh,
did,
I
right?
love
It
it.
was fun, and
I'm so excited. And I was Rosie Riveter. One of the first years after I got out of the Army, I was Rosie Riveter because I worked at Toy Store. And so I can't wait to wear the shirt.
well, here's something we're taking a step further, and I do hope it comes to fruition. But we were asked by May if she could come visit us in April and sign a couple of the shirts. So, yeah, and
Let me know when.
I will, because I thought that was a really cool ask. And my understanding is that she's one of the few Rosie Riveters that are left.
There aren't a lot.
There's not, but and I think she's in her 90s, but she travels and talks. But apparently she really likes the Pink Berets, so she wants to come down and interact with us. So we said, all right, well, we'll figure something out.
They're super cool, so I don't blame her.
Thank you. Really mutual.
It's just not us if we don't have one faux pas.
This is where the bloopers come in, right? That's what
Yeah.
Right now, our team is recording bloopers so that when we create a video centered around the work we do, we throw in some bloopers, right? Because
Bloopers are great.
that's
I
our
love bloopers.
personalities behind the scenes. There's a lot of laughing, crying.
Hey, this
Yeah, in
is
about 30
SEAC
seconds, we're going to go
retired John
quiet
Wayne
because then our
Troxel.
intro is going to come
You're
up.
listening to
And then when we come back on, he'll
Nation
introduce you.
Radio,
Okay.
the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Smoke Pit. If you guys have been hanging out, I'm sure you guys have heard our pre-flight checklist and everything.
Oh yeah, we're happening tonight.
So, normally we have our guest in our second hour, but we are blessed to have her in our first. So I want to welcome Stephanie to the show. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been so long since I've seen you.
So we will go.
know.
I know it's great. I've heard so many great things about, because you've been on with Ice before, right? You were on the show before?
I don't believe so.
Oh, well, never mind then. I'm wrong.
So it was overdue, right? It's about time.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody from Pink Berets was on though, weren't they?
That's probably the case. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think somebody from Pink Berets was on. It might not have been you. It may have been somebody else, but
Well,
I know we've talked to you guys.
So I have to ask, because we have kind of a, we're military centric. What tie do you have? You were in the service, correct?
Correct.
And when were you in, and what did you do?
So I entered in 1994.
Okay.
And I got out in 2002. I just finished giving away my age, so
So in the ballpark with us. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
so I got out in 2020. I'm just kidding. Well, I was in the United States Navy, of course, and I originally entered as a seaman, and then I moved on to enter as a corpsman. So for me, I think that's where a lot of my service-related work is connected. Just that continuum of being of service to others. So,
Do you have any great highlights, or do you not want to divulge, like, oh, I was on this boat, or I did this, or or is that like secret?
no, not secret at all. But I can tell you, my first introduction to a duty station was on the USS Simon Lake, and when I went to the USS Simon Lake, it was overseas, and it was stationed overseas, and they were just starting to integrate women with men. So
Ah.
yeah, I remember clear as day, just entering this workforce that wasn't accustomed to working with women, and so it really made for a very interesting journey.
And how big is because I've been on like a carrier, right? I was in the
Sure.
Marine Corps. I was on a carrier for a little bit. How big is that ship compared to like a carrier? Like,
So it is the smaller version. So I'd akin it to being, an aircraft carrier, as you know, is like a city on water.
Mhm.
And I would say that the USS Simon Lake or a subtender is something like a suburb on water. So it's like a little town on water. So we had 1,000+ people
Okay.
on the ship.
So that's not so bad. Was there any other women on the ship with you, or
Oh,
were you?
absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, in every facet. So if, they were in engineering, they were in weapons division, you run the gamut of all the different things that women were able to do on that ship. They were able to do it. And as they had mess cooks. It just, if there was a job, you know, um, in a specific MOS, that opportunity was there. It was
Right.
available. Um, Granted, when you're overseas, I think there's a little bit more of a limitation. But I would venture to say that if there was an opportunity, then a woman would have the ability to fulfill it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, I had a number of sisters in arms on the ship that did various uh, roles
Right.
in
Well,
different capacities.
because like I said, I went in in '98. Actually, is when I joined the Marine Corps, and I remember kind of that initial teething, especially of being on ship and it
Right.
being rather limited. It felt like it was kind of. I know we had two female Marines in my squadron that actually opted to not go when we went on Westpac because
Oh,
they were concerned kind of for their safety and for everything else, and there was limited berthing and stuff like that.
for sure.
So that's, I didn't know if, being on a carrier with all of the amenities and all of the room and all of the things that we had on a ship like that, if that was a constraint on smaller vessels, I guess, is kind of. I'm happy that though um that it wasn't, I don't know, wasn't a hostile environment, I guess, because it always kind of felt like, at least in the Marine Corps edge of it, that it was kind of, there were some hostilities there towards the integration, and I'm glad that on the Navy end there wasn't. So, but
Well, I would say that, on the Simon Lake, we had some amenities, but when it came to medical care, that's where we found limitations. Even for myself, I had multiple injuries, a vestibule door, and you know what a vestibule door is.
mm,
Sometimes when I explain to people, they don't know what I'm trying to explain. But I had a vestibule door closed on my hand, and it crushed my fingers. So they sent me to Rota, Spain. Who am I to complain? But
My brother is actually stationed there.
oh,
And
it's amazing.
yeah,
mhm.
he was there from like 89 to like 96.
Oh,
He did
wow.
he did like his whole time in the Navy in Rhoda.
Well, I mean, I would have wanted to too. So, in all fairness, in all fairness, but I mean, that's just an example, of some of the limitations. But you know, I like to tell people when I talk about, my time in service that, regardless of any experiences, I, s- I know with absolute certainty it's shaped me to be the person I am today. Because we talk a lot about, some traumatic experiences, but what I remind people is that these traumatic experiences, could happen in other places. It could happen in university. It could happen in corporate America. It just so happens to be that we experienced it in such a powerful entity like the military. But again, I go back to where it all started, and I think about, some of those women that I'm still friends with today, and I think that's pretty amazing.
Mhm. I will say I think that at least the female Marines that I served with, in the squadrons that I was in, they kind of had their own little clique. They all had each other's
Hmm.
backs. They were pretty tight. Like, it didn't matter
Oh
if,
yeah.
I don't know, like in squadron life, the airframers kind of give, don't get along with avionics or with power plants, whatever. And those gals, just, it didn't matter what their MOS was or what their background was. They were tight. They were a good group of gals. And um, I don't know. I always enjoyed, well, the one who flew with me. Her name was Diaz. She was great. She was
Yeah.
great. Um, so the Pink Berets. How
Yes.
when did you become involved with the Pink Berets? Kind of give us the backstory on that.
Absolutely. So the inception of the Pink Berets was in 2015. And in 2015, the idea of creating an organization like the Pink Berets was, again, it was just a vision. For me, it was, you know, um, I wasn't finding anything out there that was really addressing the needs of women.
Mhm.
And I think everywhere that I tried to seek help, and this had been going on for years. Don't get me wrong, this wasn't like I had an epiphany and all of a sudden it came to be. It was something that I struggled with for a while. And I think some people can relate when you talk about the struggles and how long it takes you to really identify what's happening. And so, at a time that I was really trying to identify why I was struggling the way that I was, I wasn't finding anything that really spoke to my needs. And so, if you can imagine, walking into a room full of men and talking about the things that are ailing you, it makes it for a little bit of an awkward environment, especially when you're talking about MST. So, the more that I looked for something that was relevant, the more I realized there wasn't anything out there. And I'm talking across the United States.
Mhm.
I think there was a couple of organizations out there that were women centric, but it was really centered around resources. And I kind of felt like, well, that for me, in my experience, for me, it would be putting the cart before the horse. That's such a Texas thing to say, but putting the cart before the horse. Um,
I think I
only
said that this morning, so don't feel
Did you?
bad.
Okay, see,
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's
we
okay.
get it.
Mm.
And so I think that with
the beginning stages of creating the Pink Berets, it had to be something that was not reinventing the wheel. What could we do to provide this environment, if you will, for women like myself that needed to address post traumatic stress, that needed to address military sexual trauma, that needed to address, this emotional baggage that I kept carrying around. And so, little by little, and talking with people, I said, I'm really envisioning an organization that could really, speak to these things, that could really help us on this journey of discovery. And the more that I spoke to people, the more I realized there wasn't anything out there. I had a friend that was still serving in the Army on the West Coast that said, like, well, there's women here that would just, love for something like that to exist.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, again, I had the naysayers. Oh, you shouldn't, because no one's going to buy into that. Like an all women organization for therapy, it just sounds so unrealistic. And the more I felt um, empowered to start the organization. And
For
so,
sure. And
because,
I'm so glad you did. I am
thank
so
you.
glad. I
Mhm.
brag about
Thank
you
you.
24/7.
Well, I
And
appreciate that. That's a compliment.
bringing the Pink Berets to life when you did that. Um, I know it's grown in leaps and bounds over the years. Um, what are a few of the different types of things that you offer
So, if
locally?
Sure. So locally, we still have our culinary program. And right now, we're working on a partnership with HEB where we will be able to use their test kitchen so that we
Awesome.
have the all encompassing feeling of a culinary environment.
Hmm.
And we should be releasing those dates soon. But I'm super excited about that because, as you know,
Can't
HEB
wait.
has been our biggest sponsor in the culinary world. It makes sense.
Hmm.
But, for us to have this program year over year and for it to still exist, speaks to not the totality of what it means to have it, but really what it's done for the people that have participated. So
Yeah.
that's one. And then we have our art therapy program, and we do that in conjunction at times with Help Heal Our Vets,
Hmm.
which is another extraordinary organization that focuses on art therapy and the veteran
Yeah.
community and families as a whole. So that's
Hmm.
something we really like to encompass. And then our newly minted archery program,
This
which
one I'm on fire about.
yes, I
Ugh.
gosh, what a blessing it is to know the people that I know that exist within this organization, because these women are powerful. But to see an archery program that's led by an Olympian at that, to watch her in action, to train these women and to guide these women and to see them learn from the very beginning, and then to go on to compete 3 months later and take home, winnings, I think is a testament
Hmm.
to what it means when you give a helping hand. And I like to say a hand up, right? If somebody's, reaching out for you, just asking just for you to help them understand, what it means to work through their PTSD, and you empower them by bringing them into a program like the archery program. I think
Hmm.
that in itself is really speaking to the power of what it could be to be involved in sports, outdoor
Hmm.
activities. And the archery program, we're in the beginning stages of you know, collecting data, but also using those metrics to tell our story. What does it mean for a program like this to exist, and what can it mean down the line? So it's
Yeah, it's
it's
just, I've been doing a lot of research on your archery program, and I just saw today they've got something going on this Sunday, I believe.
correct. And I
And
welcome you to come out
yeah,
on a Sunday.
well, I looked at my work schedule, and I think I can fit it in. So
I
I'm
hope so.
fingers
Yeah, I'd be love
crossed,
to
fingers
have you.
crossed, because I've got to be in Bandera anyway at some point. So I figure, you know what? I gotta drive back to Bernie anyway.
This is
So
true.
it's
This is
right
true.
there.
I think it's meant to be.
Now, are y'all still doing your equine therapy.
We are. We had a little, I'd like to call it a little bit of a hiatus because our director, unfortunately, was having to deal with cancer in her family. And
Yeah, I'd heard
so,
about that.
right. And so now what we're doing is we're developing a peer to peer level program through
Hmm.
equine. And what we have found is that when you're working on peer to peer level support, and I'm talking about, a peer of ours to be able to talk through the equine journey with us who has experience in the equine world, right?
Hmm.
Certified in certain areas of equine. To me, that really helps us with the ability to identify with one another. Like, you know what, this person understands why I'm here and how it
Hmm.
might take time for me to get through, this process.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that that is going to really be another testament to what it could mean when, we come together like a band of sisters.
The post, and I'm just overjoyed with that. I'm just so excited, and all the hard work that you guys have done and pushing all of that forward is it's just amazing to me. I just love it. It's just great.
Well, thank you. And I can tell you that day itself was very moving because you had survivors come out and speak alongside one another. I'd never witnessed anything like this in the years that I've been doing work on the advocacy side, in Washington and in Texas. But to
Hmm.
see, these survivors come forward and tell their stories, not only was courageous because it's not something that you can easily convey to a committee that's sitting before you
Hmm.
and listening intently to what you have to say, and then to have people, sitting in the audience listening to this that are complete strangers. you know
Oh
you're
God, yeah.
you're unboxing, you know, all these emotions coupled with some very personal details of what you've been through. And I can tell you that, it took everything for me not to cry.
Oh, I
But
can't even imagine.
I think what was just as impactful was in the end when we had men come forward and say, I I need to speak on behalf of my sisters, and we cannot allow this to happen anymore. And to see them in tears was powerful.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
what I can tell you is Josie Garcia was a veteran herself, Representative Josie Garcia,
Hmm.
who's a veteran herself, was really behind the scenes pushing this forward because it meant so much to her. And listening to her testimony, I think really helped encapsulate what it meant to have something like this move forward. To some
Yeah.
people that haven't been through what we've been through, they may not understand the significance, but I
Hmm.
would venture to say there's a large percentage of people that do. And I I can tell you that, and again, my years of doing this work
Hmm.
for, Representative Garcia to say they called an emergency meeting and unanimously voted on this bill says a lot about what our storytelling can achieve, especially, in its authenticity. It's not every day you hear these women and men come forward and speak to this. It shows you just how much it means to them.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't tell my story for years. I mean, honestly and seriously, I probably didn't tell anyone publicly until maybe a year ago, and I've been out of the service for 13 years now because of the
Right,
shame. Because you don't want
right.
to talk about it. You don't want to discuss it. You don't want people to know. You don't want them to look at you like you're damaged or something's wrong with you or you had, because we want to be strong.
That's
you
right.
know and that's the way we want people to see us. That's the perception we want to put off. And then once you bring that story out and people find that out, then you know you already feel like you're damaged goods. You don't want to be looked at like you're damaged goods, and it's hard.
And the other thing too, alongside that, is that there's that stigma that is still associated with it today. Anytime you bring up that topic that has anything to do with sexual assault or sexual harassment, it is still a very stigmatized topic. Maybe less today than it was before, but you still have to break through those barriers, and how people are viewing this. And you're right, a
Yeah.
high level of shame. I hear that consistently across the
Oh yeah.
board, you know and I think we have to remove that ideology of oh well, this happened to you, and so you should
Mhm.
feel ashamed, and
Mhm.
that some way somehow you were responsible for what was
Yeah.
done to you.
Yeah, what did
um
you do to make them do this?
yes,
That's sad. But yeah, that's always
yes,
the first response. Well, what did you do? What were you
yeah,
wearing? Were you
right,
drinking? Were you in a place you shouldn't have? It's always about that.
right.
It's never automatically, why did they do that to you? Yeah, yeah. It's sad.
And it's the victim blaming tactic.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why a lot of times we say, you have these survivors. I call them warriors. I don't like to say
Mhm.
these women are victims.
Nope,
You got through a
not at all.
very traumatic event in your life. Some would have not ever come out unscathed. And to know that you're doing something with this and not allowing it to define you,
Mhm.
um, whether you talk about it years later, or early on, it is
Mhm.
still very difficult to talk about. There's never a comfortable subject to
Nope.
approach. Um, so I commend you for doing that too, because I know even years later doesn't make it easier,
No, no.
you
The,
know.
the the time that
So
passes doesn't make it easier. I think what has made it easier is is talking about it, but talking about it with other women who have gone through it as well. Because I did never do that before. Because I didn't have anything like the Pink Berets when I first got out. I didn't have anybody else that I knew that had gone through it, because everyone keeps it a secret. Even when you're
right.
in, you don't talk about it. It happened to
Mm-mm.
you. You don't report it because you don't want to be the one that gets blackballed or in trouble. And so you just don't talk about it.
And that
And
is a
that's
fact.
it. Yeah.
That is a fact. We are still hearing that today, believe
Yeah.
it or not. We're in 2023, and we are still hearing a number of cases surface. Suicide still at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Um, Assault still taking place. And when you look at the numbers that come out of the Department of Defense, you now have your service academies who have a high incidence of this as well. And I think
Hmm.
that, that begs the question, what are we missing here?
Yeah.
How is it that, this is still taking place in today's military? So, I think it's going to be, again, there's a lot of work still left to be done. And that's why, we do what we do. But I think it's very evident that there's people who are much more aware now, and definitely want to be as involved as possible when it comes to advocacy work and ensuring that this doesn't go away, and that we continue to bring a lot of awareness, and
Hmm.
not just awareness. It's not saying, hey, we want to make you aware. It's important to educate people. It's
Hmm.
important to help build their knowledge on what it means for them and those that will be entering the military. And I think it's also important for us to really help people grasp the gravity of the situation that we're facing right now. and then it will be taken into account exactly what it is that we need to do, right? And we're moving days away into Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So
Yeah, we are. Yep. Moving from Women's History Month to sexual.
right,
Wow. That's a
that's
transition right there.
that is a big transition. But I think what's also important to identify is that it's not gender specific.
Oh
You
no,
know,
not at all.
we really have to, help people embrace the fact that this happens to everybody. Your men in the military, your LGBTQ communities.
Mhm.
It doesn't discriminate in any way, and
Nope.
so we really have to help people understand that as well. And that Sexual Assault Awareness Month isn't a month dedicated, to the women that have been through these traumatic events or experiences, but also the men and the other communities that have been involved. So it's
For
important work.
everybody. Yeah, exactly. So
Absolutely, it is.
I also heard that you recently did some really cool things, and you were at something held at the Women in Military Service for American Memorial, something with the VA Secretary McDonnell formally announced about a
Yes.
motto. What was that all
Wow.
about?
I mean, what an epic day to me. That was a special announcement at this event that I was invited to. And at the time, they didn't tell you what they were inviting to. They just said he requested your presence
Mm-hmm.
and that this invite was non transferable. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what does this mean? Like, what's going on? And so, of course, I'm going to
Did you
say
feel like you were
yes,
in
right?
trouble?
What did they find out? What did I do? So, um, and so yes, I had an opportunity to visit, to attend the event, but also visit the memorial, which was my first time, believe it or not. As many times as I've been in Washington, I never. I mean, I don't go there to go, you know, um, tour. I go there for work. And so having the opportunity to be present, I think just made it that much more um, of a moment. And not only that, I have some of my mentors that were present, colleagues, peers, and the the invite was to share that the model was officially, going to change for all of the VAs, and it's going to now include, women in this model, caregivers and survivors. The people that sometimes we don't remember to credit.
So it says now that the language will no longer be male dominated, and it will now read to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. That's amazing. That is
Isn't
just
it?
awesome. I love it. I love the wording. I love that it's all inclusive. It's not cutting anybody out. It's just including everyone that's involved. And I just love it. It was great. I think that's great that you were there. And that's a bucket list item for me, going to the Women in Military for America memorial. I've got my name there somewhere. So
Yes. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I'm registered with them. It's so cool.
It
But
is.
yeah, that
It
is
is.
neat
I
that you
can't
got to
wait.
do that. And you
I
had
can't
no
wait for you to go.
idea. I think
No,
that's
that's
so
just
cool. I
it.
did not know that. I did not know you had no idea.
No, and it was really interesting to me because I was getting emails like, "Can you confirm your attendance? Will you be here?" And and in my mind, I was just like, "Well, what are they? Of course, I'm curious." I was like, "What's going on?" So I asked another person that was also invited. Was like, "What do you think it's about?" She's like, "I don't know. What do you think it's about?" And so we just they couldn't figure it out. And then one of the women that we work with, who's a White House liaison, she says, "So, did you know why you were invited?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." So tell me.
Right? I
I'm like,
want to know.
"Spill
I
the
like
tea, sister."
surprises.
And she tells me, "Oh my gosh," because "it took everything for me not to be able to tell you." She goes, "But they wanted us to like keep it under wrap until you all attended the event." And
That's so
so
cool.
just a lot of excitement. And again, to make history that way, and for family members, caregivers, survivors to feel, part of that inclusivity. Um, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said. And so while we think, the shift may not be going necessarily in the direction that we want to go, I also know we're talking about a really, really big system and how things can't happen overnight the way that we wish that they would. But there was a lot of work put into this model for years. And, this wasn't an overnight thing. So to know that those that really forged forward in making this happen, I was pretty excited. I know an individual who was behind the scenes working on this model change and advocating for it. And so to be able to hug her and tell her she did it was pretty incredible. So
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yay, super cool. You are a busy lady for sure. I mean, they're just every time I turn around, I'm reading something else, something new, something different. I believe you were nominated, was a couple years ago. L'Oreal. What was that all about?
Oh yes. So I was
You
oh
know
that
what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm like, I'm not sure. Yes, L'Oreal Women of Worth. So I am alumni for the L'Oreal Women of Worth. I was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
True story. This will make you laugh, I hope. Um, they contact you and let you know about the nomination, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, thank you. And then I moved on. And then there's a cutoff date in which they want you to submit all of your information, all the details, and I'm talking, it's a packet of paperwork that you have to do. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. And then I moved on. And I honestly didn't think anything about it. And I get a phone call from one of the women that's on this committee for L'Oreal, and she says, so the deadline was yesterday, and I noticed your packet wasn't in here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I was like, oh, right, well, next time, right? Thank you. And she was like, no, like we're waiting for your packet. I was like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
okay, so there's still time. And she goes, well, the time's up, but we would like your packet. And so I was like, okay, I'll get that to you today. And so that day I,
Had to cram for your final, basically.
Right. I filled it out and
Oh my
I
goodness.
turned it in, and then months later they contacted me via telephone, right? But
Mm-hmm.
via mobile device, and let me know that I was the top 10
Yeah.
in the Women of Worth, and I was shocked. And I just remember, like, what does this mean? And next thing you know, they're coordinating everything. And oh well, this is the first year. This marks our 15th year of doing this, and NBC is going to film this for the first time,
It was
existing as
crazy,
L'Oreal.
huh?
It was a whirlwind, but I remember thinking, not only was it a humbling experience, but also, I guess that's just the way mine works. It's like, oh, how many more women are we going to reach? And how many more
Yeah.
people are going to learn about what we do? Like
Exactly.
I was interested in what that could look like. And, I can tell
Gonna get
people
that
felt
word out
empowered.
there.
Absolutely. But what I think is also very important is that we give women that sense of empowerment. And I know empowerment can be used very loosely and be cliche to some degree, but it exists for a reason. And there's a quote that I had, someone on our Pink Berets team post not too long ago, and it said, empowered women empower women. And I really think that that's who we are at the end of the day, is that, we're empowered to make a change. We're empowered to deliver what we say we're going to deliver. We're empowered to, serve as, women, hopefully, that can leave a legacy behind for others. And so in the midst of the things that we do, my hope is that, a young girl watching can say, I want to do that. But my hope is also that, that young girl that wants to serve knows that she's going to serve in a military that's safer, that's more aware, and that's ready to help her with her growth, in terms of her career. And those are the things that we actively work towards, is that we're empowering the younger generations, to show that anything is possible. And it truly is, because if we think about where we were years ago and where we are today, having this conversation with one another and talking about the things that we're overcoming and the things we wouldn't allow to define us, I think there's a lot to be said for the younger minds that are, watching,
Exactly.
and you want to be able to know that somebody is going to feel like they can achieve anything, right? Be the next
Yeah.
woman president.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my daughter,
Yes.
she was the face of the Coast Guard for the Pink Berets.
Yes.
And I had hesitation when she came to me and
I'm
said, "Hey, I
certain.
want to join the military." And I was like, "Okay, what branch?"
Yeah.
And I took that deep breath, and she was like, "Well, I really like the Coast Guard." And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, Coast Guard resume. Let's check that out." And then the more things that have happened in the military, but the more women I see veterans getting involved, and the more active duty women my daughter's age and younger, and even, the ones getting ready to get out, that are making the changes, that
Yes.
are saying, "Hey, no, this is wrong," or, "Hey, we should, change this, and let's adjust fire," basically. It made me feel a lot better and a lot more comfortable about her being in. And she loves the Coast Guard. She loves
I'm
being in the
glad.
service. It's her passion. And who knew, I had no
Yes.
idea, because I don't know if you remember our backstory or not, but I did not raise her. I had
Yeah.
put her up for adoption at birth. So the fact that a child that I never raised didn't have anything to do with her life until she was an adult, who wasn't raised by a military parent, chose to join the military and continue to keep that alive with the family. It makes me proud, and I want women to want to join the military. The parts that weren't bad were great.
Right.
And I love that people like you are doing the things that they're doing, that we have this space to talk, and that we have people advocating, because I don't want women to not be in the service. We have
Absolutely.
so much to bring to the military across
Yes, we do.
all branches. And I just love what you do. And I love what the Pink Berets do. I am like, I'm one of your biggest fans. The Pink Berets' biggest fans. I mean, I love you guys to death, and I just love what you do, and I just thank you so much, because you guys have helped me personally, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you guys do.
Well, I can tell you, what you just said itself is a reward. That's the reward, knowing that we can get a testament such as yours, is the very reason why we do what we do, and will continue doing what we do, because it is important. And I can't thank you enough for believing in our mission and just staying alongside us all these years. I told somebody earlier, I was just like, wow, when I think back when I first met you and your daughter, and just thinking how lovely you two were and how much fun you were. I remember all the laughs. Like it
We had a great time that day. That was the
was.
best day.
Yes. And Amber showed me a picture some time ago that popped up in her memories, and it just, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, wow, it's wild to think where we've come all these years. But
So for anybody that doesn't know personally, they ran a contest, I guess you want to say, for the
yes.
face of the Pink Berets, and they had people submit um, nominees, basically. So I
Yes.
submitted my daughter as one, um, being Coast Guard, and she got chosen. And they chose a female from each, or a woman from each branch of the military. And then for a whole day, they got spoiled. Basically, it was great. We all got to go out to it's Diamond Ranch.
Double Diamond Ranch.
Double Diamond Ranch. Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if it was Diamond or Double Diamond. And
Double
that's
Diamond.
here in Texas, just outside of Bernie. And we got makeovers, and I'm still friends with the Mary Kay lady. She's
Oh my God.
so sweet. And we just had the best day. It was just like, I'm friends with all of the ladies that I met that day. Still to this day, we chat Facebook. I mean, we may not see each other every day,
Sure.
but it was my introduction to the Pink Berets, and this has been years ago. And I've gone to many more of their functions since then. And even though COVID shut down so much stuff, they still were doing online. You guys were doing online art.
Correct.
You did so much stuff, and it got a lot of people through a lot of hard times. I mean, I know. for
Oh,
sure.
yes. It certainly did. It certainly did. It was, but it was also a testament to how you can adapt and overcome, because that's what we've been taught, right? It's like, wow, there's this shift in our world that we've never been subjected to. You know, what do we do? Because we did immediately think about, how everybody was going to have to be secluded. And we were
Mhm.
trying to tell people to do the opposite of that. Don't
Mhm.
stay, come out, be involved, do activities, feed your mind. And then to have to reverse that,
Mhm.
it was a challenge, but, also a godsend that we were able to stay intact and continue our mission,
Yeah.
through COVID. So,
Now I know
yes,
Pink Berets is Texas local. Y'all are out of
correct.
Bernie, Texas. Do you
Correct.
guys have any future plans for taking it wider than just Texas,
Well, the
or wider
interesting
than
thing
just
is,
here?
correct. So the interesting thing is that we have an ambassador in Wyoming
Mhm.
who, I could say, is boots on the ground.
Oh.
She's actively trying to build a network in Wyoming, right? And that borders,
Mhm.
states that we know through research is in need
Mhm.
of what the Pink Berets can offer. And so that's definitely something that we're looking at. And then we have somebody who is boots on the ground in New Jersey, who helps us, get a hold of what it is that we're missing on the East Coast. And so we're, again, trying to understand where is the greatest need, where can we make the greatest impact without, opening up a satellite facility and then
Mhm.
not being able to keep it running, through the people that are needing the assistance. And so it is
Mhm.
something that we're definitely looking into, but we do have women situated all over the U.S. right now. We have another team member who's in Arkansas, um, another one in Virginia, where I'm at right now. Um, and so that in itself is allowing us to just spread our wings a little bit more. And so that we're able to really identify who it is that's needing us and where. I can tell you that's one of the things that is heavy on my heart most days is when women reach out to you from other states and you're limited in what you're able to provide or do. And for me, you learn their story and you learn why they're needing your assistance. And it's like, wow, you wish you could help everyone that crosses that invisible threshold.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just not possible. However, with that said, I've learned of other women organizations that are coming up in other states. And for me, that's a breath of fresh air, because that shows me that people are also taking the initiative to
Mhm.
start an organization and to start addressing the needs of women. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the help come
Mhm.
forward. And I'm partnering with organizations like that, where we can learn from each other. Um, so to answer your question with my long tangent,
No,
the
no, that's exactly. I mean, if you
the
if you
plans
can't do it
there.
yourself, if you can partner with somebody else, I mean, it's all about helping each other out, and it's like you
It
said, with
is.
empowering each other.
It is
I mean,
absolutely. And
you can't be everywhere at once. So if somebody else can be there to help you and you can help them, more power
yes,
to it.
exactly, exactly. And I want to say this organization that she reached out to me on LinkedIn, and when I learned what she was doing, I thought to myself, wow, this is really impressive, and I wanted to make sure I had the name correctly, but Shannon reached out to me from Shield of Sisters, and they're out in Wisconsin, and they started an organization that is focused on bringing awareness to the MST. And I thought, wow, this is really great news, and to know that we can connect and collaborate and talk about what it is we could do together like that, to me is it's a gift, but it's also something that helps me not feel like the weight is always on me in terms of how we're going to be able to help these women. Knowing that there's other organizations out there that are starting and growing leaves me just hopeful on who will be able to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing that. That's great. Hey, Jake.
Yes.
You got anything to chime in about?
Well,
I was getting pretty close to the 8 o'clock hour.
Oh, we still got about 10, 15 minutes yet, and we, I'm going to say that because
we'll talk about HEB and we'll talk about everything.
Well, this is what. So David Cunningham said he wanted to thank you guys for being advocates, and wishes that after Vanessa Gillian's story that things would get better, and I said I replied, I know, right? That's great. I'm just letting them go at it because you guys are so good at it. You don't need me to interject my mansplaining and all that shit to you. So you know what I mean? Like, because like when we talk about MST, like that's, and I know it's not just a woman's issue. There is sexual trauma all across the military, but I think percentage wise, there's less men that run through that. I don't know the numbers, and I'm just making this up because I didn't feel like in my service, in my 14 years in, that I had any issues with that on the receiving end of it anyway. Hopefully not on the giving end, but I know that's not always the case. But but on
I'm eyeballing you, sir.
Well, but because hold on, and I think this is what men need to understand. This is what was explained to me by a couple people, and it's not what you say; it's how it's received. Right.
Yes, perception.
So what I say, I hope none of it comes off as being, dangerous or threatening or anything like that. But sometimes just because I say something doesn't mean that what my intention was isn't the received intention. So I like to throw the caveat out there. Well, I didn't intend it if it was, but I think the biggest thing, we keep hearing stories about MST in the military, and I don't know, is it getting better? Do you think? Because I've got a 17-year-old daughter who's throwing the idea around of joining the service, and I don't know if that's an environment that I want her to go in, if this is such an issue still.
Well, I when full transparency, especially from my vantage point and the things that I'm involved in, I can tell you that unfortunately it is not getting better.
Right.
And but it makes me and others work that much harder to ensure that we are shaping the narrative in terms of what it means. What I can tell you that does leave me hopeful, even though we're seeing these numbers can tell us a lot. However, the thing that we have to be careful with is that the numbers can also tell us are just people feeling more empowered to speak up now. Right? That might be the distinguishing difference. Are people just more apt to say, listen, I'm going to speak up, like with everything in the news and with other things that have taken place, I want to speak up and say something. But then you have those that come to us and tell us, I want to tell you anonymously, because if not, there will be retribution. They will be ostracized. And those are the things that we're trying to prevent. What I can tell you for the Department of Defense is that they're actively working hard to change what is taking place. But again, I go back to the fact that this is a huge institution.
Right.
And even though I know that there has to be this, and I said it before, I said it at the Vanessa Guillen hearing, there has to be a massive, I want to be careful how I word this, because I want people to understand the meaning, but there has to be a massive institutional and cultural reform that takes place.
Right.
You know, we can't just expect things to change overnight, but we have to be that much more informed and work towards changing it, because it's going to take a lot more than just the Department of Defense. You know, we as civilians now, as veterans, have a voice to speak up and talk about the change we demand. Not that we want, not that we're waiting for, but the change that we demand.
Right.
And if we continue that, we're going to see the change. And I will say that, you know, Vanessa put a huge spotlight on the issues that were still in existence. And unfortunately, you know, I don't know that it was taken as seriously until they found Vanessa the way that they did. And so I just think that it's important that we understand that while there's still a lot of work to be done, we also don't want to crush the dreams of those who have always wanted to enter the military. What I've told people that have asked me, you know, what would you tell my daughter? Or better yet, what would you tell my son? It's that you're aware, you're knowledgeable, and you're always implementing a safety measure for yourself, right? I think that, you know, some of the things that we see today is sharing locations, updating family members, having a battle buddy, you know, just making sure that you keep yourself safe and that you're aware and you're knowledgeable. One thing I've told women, it might seem silly, but it's true. Learn how to kick some serious ass. And the reason I say that is because you want to be able to defend yourself. And this can't be, oh, well, if she's 115 pounds and this guy's 200 and some odd pounds, you know, she has no chance. She does. If she knows the right tactics, if she's been trained well, she will be able to protect herself. So those are the things, you know, in today's world, in today's military, that I would encourage women and men to do, is to just know what it is that you're getting into and to be aware and to ask questions.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so
questions or
well, so at the DoD level, there appears to be no pushback to the policies and whatnot. Is that, do you think it's still at like small unit? Like, is it at like company size or brigade size? I mean, because a lot of these stories come out of Fort Hood, right? And I don't know if that's being transparent or not, but it seems to be that a lot of these stories kind of come out of certain commands. Is that, I guess, where is the hiccup between the Department of Defense or the Department of the Army saying, don't sexually assault anybody, to getting down to what level do you think that isn't? Is there a barrier somewhere? I know it's a big paradigm shift for the entire military to not assault people. Like, I don't know. Right. I mean, I know I'm breaking it down very, very Barney style in that, but it essentially gets down to don't fucking assault people, right? Where are we? Exactly. Where is the hiccup in that? Do you think, like, if you could go to a certain level of the military, whether it be, you know, like a base commander or a unit commander, at what level do you think it needs to be? Like, we need to take care of each other and not assault people or stop these things as they're happening, because, like, well, there was just that event like 2 weeks ago at Fort Hood where, you know, like, it's not, I guess I'm getting kind of upset at, when I was an NCO, I was told to take care of all your troops, right?
Correct.
And it just feels like something's missing there. And I don't know where it's at, I guess. If you could wave a magic wand and say, we need to change X, Y, and Z, what would you have them change exactly?
And that's a great question. And I think that everything that you just stated is very valid. From everything that I'm looking at and everything that has taken place, you know, the thing with Fort Hood and how massive it is, there is a breakdown somewhere. And I think a lot of us are trying to identify where that breakdown is. I can't tell you historically it happens to the junior enlisted, right? If you look at the age groups, of the men and the women that have been found deceased or that have died by suicide, allegedly. And then you take a look at the ones that have been assaulted, harassed. It is always typically your junior enlisted. So then it begs the question, when you take it up the ranks, right, you follow your chain of command. And I had actually asked this as recent as last week. When you look at your chain of command, who in that chain of command is allowing it to stop? Meaning that when it gets to them, why isn't it going to court martial? Why isn't it going to where, the perpetrator is getting in trouble for their actions, right?
Mhm.
They've committed a crime. And so what I'm trying to identify is like, okay, so they took it to, their leader, and that leader is then supposed to move it up. Where in that area does it falter? Just like you said. And so I'm trying to identify through the Pink Berets and through the advocacy work that we do, where is the stopping point? And historically, is that leader typically making these decisions to let it stop at him or her? Meaning that when there's a complaint, is this specific leader known to let the complaint die with them? Or are they allowing it to go further? Because remember, their team is a reflection of them.
Mhm.
So if you can imagine, right? They know it's going to impact them and their ability to be promoted or their ability to move up the ranks if it's found that on their watch, someone was killed, there was a suicide, there was an assault, there was harassment, because it reflects poorly on them. And so I think it's the toxic leadership that we're looking at. There's no way around that. What I can say recently with Fort Hood, you have a new commander involved who I think wants to see things change. But you're talking about a lot of these recommendations that were made from the IRC, I feel are going to take a long time for all of them to be implemented. So the little bit of recommendations that have been implemented, we're seeing that it's not yet effectively changing what it looks like for the people at Fort Hood. Culturally, they need an overhaul. Like morally, like the moral compass at Fort Hood, unfortunately, for some of these soldiers is broken.
Mhm.
But you have to think about the people who are directly impacted too, like the good soldiers, right? The soldiers who are doing, what they're supposed to be doing, who are abiding by the law. Why are they why are they feeling the impact if they're doing everything right? But then you have the ones that are doing the things they're not supposed to be doing, and as a result, it shines a poor light on the things that they're doing. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so there's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
this huge imbalance at Fort Hood. And, I've heard this said before, shut down Fort Hood. I think that if everybody and anybody could advocate for Fort Hood to just be shut down, it would make a lot of people happy. But then,
Well, that's because Fort Hood's a
caveat,
shithole. I mean, in all fairness, like it's not just.
in all fairness, it is.
But you can't. I don't know. I feel like. I hope I'm not interrupting, but I feel like. I just feel like it's a human thing, right?
Sure,
We shouldn't
it is.
assault. I mean, again, the military's got it's a very energized area, right? I get that, but when we worry about we got to have these uniform inspections, we got to have this inspection, we got to have motor pool, like we can't even just have. And I know like then we go the opposite end and we have these really boring long safety stand downs that no one pays attention to. Like there's got to be it's a cultural thing, right? It's got to be a I don't know. I don't like I said, a paradigm shift. It's got to be everyone just be like, it's not okay to assault people. Like, I don't know,
No.
like, and if it's, I know, like, this is just me being an idiot, probably, but I don't understand what at the command level and above, if if my daughter goes to her first sergeant and says, "Hey, first sergeant, I've been sexually assaulted by my platoon sergeant. What can we do?" That there'd be any repercussions to the command by saying something about that, by moving that up to I understand like the good old boy system and people are jerks and, like maybe not, but that's where it's got to start. But when these commands go up and they're going for their evaluations and everything, you'd think that when there's a lack of reporting on sexual traumas or sexual assaults, that they would think to themselves, like, you've got however many people in this brigade, however many women in this brigade, somebody has had to, if there's got to be some sort of sexual assault or sexual harassment claims coming out of this battalion or this brigade, how come we're not seeing them at this level? And that should raise some red flags somewhere. Like,
Absolutely. And what I'm going to tell you is, especially with one of the recent stories that came out where there was an investigation on leadership at Fort Hood, and the things that they uncovered, you just would be beside yourself, because they're like, how are we here again at Fort Hood again, right? And you almost feel like it's this breeding ground for criminal activity. And at what point is someone going to say, hey, we need to like make a really clean sweep of all the toxic leadership that exists there, from first sergeant on up? Like, where, again, it does come down to, where is the breakdown? You're only as good as your leader.
right.
And if your leader isn't emphasizing that you're going to be locked up or you're going to be kicked out of the military, then I don't think we're being effective enough and helping, the young ones understand that this is a crime and you shouldn't just be pat on the hand for raping somebody. And I'm sorry, I get tired of sexual assault being thrown around like extra change, like it's not something that's bad. That's bad. It's rape.
Right.
And until they can understand the gravity of what's happening to these people, it's going to continue. It's not, so many lives have been ruined, and for the long term, nobody gets over this overnight. Like, you've changed the trajectory of their life. And I will tell you something that really sat with me when I was at the Capitol in Austin, when I told you these men went up and spoke, on why they feel, something needs to be done, and why it was important to have this day of remembrance and what it means to them. But this one gentleman who said he was a captain in the military went on to say, I worked alongside women every single day. Every single day. And not once would I have thought it was okay to harass them, to touch them, to mistreat them. So I have a very hard time understanding that people don't understand that it's not okay.
Right.
And another man said that. He goes, there's no excuse for it. He goes, are we dealing with men or are we dealing with little boys? And if it's little boys that we're dealing with, we'll get them the hell out of the military. They're not ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And they're impacting our military readiness when it comes to them having a simple ability to recognize that you don't put your hands where they don't belong. That was taught to us in elementary school, people.
Yeah.
How difficult can that be?
Right.
So, and I'm sorry I'm getting all pumped about this, but
No, get
No.
pumped, girl. Get pumped.
it blows my mind that such a simple concept cannot be retained.
Right.
And
Exactly.
people are having to live in fear if they speak up. People, if you're listening, stop living in fear. You have the power to save someone's life if you speak up. It's, and I akin it to, the bullying campaign. See something, say something.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because that can potentially save somebody's life. You could potentially save someone from being raped or killed, for that matter. So I think it's going to have to be, one of those things where, again, we start building a tighter and bigger community around this, and that we start speaking up more often about this. And I'm going to tell you that it's also very important, for men to speak up.
Yeah.
Because if they see women, they think, oh, here she is, she's crying about XYZ. And it's like, well, no. I mean, we're trying to change, the course of somebody's path. When you have men speak up as well, then it shows that, we're in this together.
Right.
Yeah.
We all, as just decent human beings, want to see this come to an end.
Right.
Right? So
Exactly. I love that. That's great. They do. We as women, when we see men stand up for us and with us, not just for us, with us, stand up with us and show people and tell people, look, we're here. And if you do something, we're going to tell on you. If we see you cross that line, you don't have to worry about her reporting you. I'm going to report you.
Yep.
The men out there doing the bad shit need to know that the other men are watching them. We're not going to put up with you treating our fellow military members that way. We are a team, all of us, men, women, LGBT, whoever you are in the military community. We are a family. We are one. We have each other's backs. If you want to trust that person to have your back in war, you've got to trust that person in garrison. You've got to be able to feel safe around them no matter what. And that's exactly what needs to happen. And we need to talk about it. We need to make people uncomfortable, because the more
Yes.
uncomfortable they are hearing about it, hopefully that means the less likely they are to do it.
That's right.
And I'm all about making people uncomfortable. Ask my children. They'll tell you.
Well, Stephanie, we've been on for about an hour and 10. So
Another hour and 10, you think?
if you want, hey, we're having a great discussion. I just know that you had. I don't want to keep your.
You got an early flight in the morning, girl.
I do.
So
Yes, I
I
do.
didn't want to keep you too awful long if you have things you need to accomplish, but social media stuff. Do you
Where can we
have
find you?
Yeah, where can we find you? Do you have any This is your time to promote yourself and your organizations and everything and anything that you're working on. What's upcoming for you? What do you see in your future, and what do you want to give a shout out to?
Oh gosh. So I want to tell you, to continue following us on social media. For those of you who do not know who we are on social media, you can follow us at the Pink Berets on Instagram. We're active on Instagram. We're active on Facebook. You can find the Pink Berets on Facebook at the Pink Berets. You can find us on Twitter as well. I would say sign up for our newsletter. That's at thepinkberets.org. The newsletter gives you up-to-date information on upcoming events. I believe we have a newsletter going out here in another few days. But it will bring you up to speed on a number of things that we're doing. And also volunteerism. We've got a pretty big team. And for us, that's really what helps us drive our mission. So volunteers is also very important for us. And I would also say, to be on the lookout for the culinary program that's coming up, the equine program. Something that I'm excited about is that we're partnering with Legoland Discovery Center to do a adult Lego mindfulness event. Again, I like Legos, so
Except at midnight when you step on them on the way to the bathroom.
right. For me, that's just one of those things where when you get mad at somebody, it's like go step on a Lego. But I mean, in this instance,
And they
we
have
want
really cool shirts too.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yes.
So you guys see.
Thank
This
you.
one fits me more like a crop top nowadays, because this is one of my first shirts I got from you guys many years ago when I still had my military figure that I don't have anymore. But
Well, we're gonna
I
get
love
you
it.
another shirt, that's for sure.
I love me Pink Berets.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's again, that's the reward when we have someone who believes in the mission, who supports the mission. That for us fills our cup. And I know it's not just me. I know everybody on the team is equally passionate about being able to serve our community of veterans, and that's why we thrive.
And thank you so much for everything that you do. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here for us. Thank you so, so much for taking this time out of your busy, busy schedule and everything that you do to come on tonight and talk to us and all of our listeners here at the Smoke Pit. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for giving me the platform, for giving me an opportunity to share what it is that we're working on. So I'm grateful, grateful.
Yeah, absolutely, and keep us up to date of things as they happen, and your victories as they're coming. And if you have any events, local events that are going, let us know. We'll share them as much as we can. I everything I've heard about all this stuff, everything you guys do is great, and I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you guys can really bring on those changes that need to be fixed. And I appreciate it.
Well, we won't stop until we do. So thank you so, so much. I appreciate you all. And again, thank you for having me. It has been a great evening with you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hope to see you soon, Steph.
Well, we're gonna
Yes.
go. We're gonna go to break. We're gonna cut to break and say goodbye to our guest, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Shots.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots. Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects and mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. We're back.
Hi, me and my double chin. I don't know what's up with that tonight. It's looking like I have two chins.
Well, I tell you what, who was amazing was our guest.
Oh my gosh,
Stephanie
isn't
was
she
amazing.
the best?
Yes.
I love Stephanie. Since the first day I met her many moons ago, she was just the nicest person. She is just so sweet and so nice, and she's just heartfelt. Everything that she does,
Yep.
she gives it 110%. That woman would give you literally the clothes off of her back if she thought it would be the one thing that would help you out. She
Right.
is amazing. I absolutely love her.
Well, and I think it helps to have. She doesn't seem to be the kind of person to take no for an answer either.
No, I don't think so at all.
So that's exactly the kind of person you want doing the kind of work she does, because I feel like she's kind of like a pit bull with that, and she's going to keep going with it till she fixes everything. So
Yeah,
that's
when,
awesome.
when she says the word demand, it's like
Mhm.
no joke. She
Yep.
says, not what we want, not what we hope one day will be happening. No, it's what we demand. And that's her presence. I mean, that's why she gets invited to the things that she gets invited to. That's why she's there doing the type of, because she's just great at what she does. And it just comes naturally. She's she's an inspiration. She really is, and I just love her to death. She is the sweetest person. But I would not want to cross her.
Phil says she'd fit in one of your river float trips.
Oh my God, she would. You know what? That's what I should do. I should totally.
How is she
get
going to
her
have time to
it
do
this year.
that?
Well, schedule. We'll just schedule it out. Schedule it out.
Oh, Broncos
'Cause we
going to
do
leave.
that
Sorry,
one-
buddy. See you on the flip side.
We do that one on Flag Day every year on the Comal. Well, no, now they do it, I think, on the San Marcos River. But she would be great for that. Oh, I'm going to have to send her an invite
There you
early
go.
before she can schedule it. Maybe we can work it into her busy schedule.
God, she's just in Washington, just tearing things up. I don't know if she have time to go drink beer on the river. Hope she does. Hopefully, she has time to get away for a minute and take care of her own mental health too. You got to be able to do that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, I'm sure she does. She does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Other than just work. I mean, in
I hope
general,
so.
she's always doing things, but I'm pretty sure she has downtime.
Good. That's good for her. I hope so.
Because she does a lot of her own stuff with the Pink Berets. I think she does a lot of things with like the culinary classes and the different things that they offer. I'm just stoked about the archery. I did archery in junior high, and I wanted to do it in high school. And I have a friend who did it like seriously did it. Like, I think she did like junior Olympics and stuff. I'll have to find out for sure.
Wow.
But like, she's freaking amazing in it. And I've always been interested in it. And I used to bow hunt with my dad.
Mhm.
And I'm stoked about the archery. I really want to get involved in that. That's going to be my new thing. Y'all wait. That's going to be my thing.
Well, and if you're out there and you want, I'm going to share, or Taryn, you want to? I need to figure out how to get you admin permissions on that smoke pit site. I need
It's
to.
easy. I'll show you.
Well, I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. I just can't. But I'm gonna make sure I share the Pink Berets Facebook page on there.
Yeah, we'll share all their stuff.
Yep.
Debauchery. Cause says debauchery or archery. I already do debauchery. I do lots of debauchery.
Right. So, but yeah, I don't know. I that's something I'm kind of passionate about. Like I don't know. I'm a dude. So I know when it comes to things like that, it's not, my opinion doesn't matter as much as people who are actually being traumatized. But it just feels to me like it's fucking wrong. It's like going to the bar. This is the way I look at it. Okay. And this is a Marine Corps perspective, right? If I go to the bar, right, and I see another Marine getting beat up, I'm going to jump in and try to stop it.
Mhm.
Right. So that it doesn't matter to me if that's a man or a woman or fucking anyone else. If I see another Marine in trouble, or a soldier or a sailor or airman, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
if they're getting fucking beat up, it's my job to step in and try to help. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is that okay at the fucking bar, but not okay in the barracks? You know what I mean?
Well, because you're a good person, though.
But
You got to look at it from this point of view. Just because you're in the military doesn't mean you're a good person. Just because you're a CEO of a company doesn't mean you're a good person. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you're a good parent. I mean, the person is where the problem starts at.
right.
These people that are doing these bad things are bad people.
Right.
You can tell them all you want, dude. Hey, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that. You should know better. Oh, I'm sure they know better. They're just bad people. And we've got to come up with a system for finding and weeding out these bad people, because whatever the system is now, we don't have it, and it's not working.
No. And I know there's like fucking hotlines and shit like that. And there's the inspector general's office, and there should be, everyone's got a sharp representative and all that. But it doesn't feel like.
Yeah, but what if your Sharps rep is a bad guy?
Well, but then you're going to call the next company over, or call Bravo company because Alpha company's a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, like if it's not getting fucking fixed, like, fucking go to that big sergeant, that one who fucking spends 84 hours a day in the gym, and be like, hey, that dude raped me. Can you help me fucking take care of him? Like, you know what I mean? It shouldn't even have to, well, I'm just saying it shouldn't fucking happen in the first place. Okay, stop. Full stop on that. Okay? And I'm not trying to get the Army out of trouble, and I'm not trying to excuse the behavior, right? But how many people in the Army? Million? Army's about 1 million wide, I think. I don't even know the numbers anymore, force projection numbers and all that. Well, we'll just say, if there's 1 million people in the Army, you take a city of 1 million people, you're going to have rapists, you're going to have murderers, you're going to have drug dealers, and that's just society in general, right? You take a demographic of 1 million people, you're going to have bad people in that million.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But we, as that society, right, should be more strict in our punishment. Fucking Dick said corporal punishment, absolutely. Whip the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Put him up in the goddamn. Put him in the stocks, in the stockade, right in front of fucking everybody.
Too many people are getting put out for being overweight, but being retained and getting a slap on the wrist.
Right?
For sexual assault.
Do you want the fat guy who's not a rapist, or do you want the skinny guy who is a rapist or a pedophile?
Yeah, seriously. I don't understand when you have two things in front of you as a command.
Dick said we lost audio again. I think he's crazy because I had to push no buttons. I pushed 0 buttons.
We touched nothing. Your lips are moving, but nothing's coming out.
That's the way my brain is.
I swear, I didn't do anything. I have no control over anything.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just don't get it.
It's back. He says it's back.
You know what?
Us, then.
Well, they were saying too, like it went out like on Facebook earlier, but like on YouTube it didn't or something. I don't fucking know.
Well, all I gotta say is there are two things sitting in front of you as a leader, any leader. I'm talking a squad leader, platoon sergeant, first sergeant, sergeant mate, whoever you are. You have two things sitting in front of you. You have a guy that's overweight or a woman that's overweight. You have somebody that sexually harassed someone for some kind of gain or benefit, or just for fucking shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if it makes me look bad because it happened on my watch. This jackass who sexually assaulted someone or sexually harassed someone is bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
This guy who's overweight, guess what? Still a good person. He can lose weight.
Right.
Let's give him another try. This jackass, bye. I don't see where the breakdown is. But again, we're good people. Our brains don't compute I don't. I'm like you.
I don't fucking get it. Yeah, I don't understand it whatsoever. I
don't even care if I'm going to lose my job because I stood up and stood against the person that did the shitty thing and let the other person who didn't do the shitty thing stand. I'll take that bullet. I'll take that bullet in a heartbeat.
Right.
But again, not everybody's wired the same.
See, this is me, and I just can't, dude. I just cannot, for the life of me, figure out why, like, people are okay with like all of it.
Me neither.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we allowing it to happen?
I don't know,
and
man.
because I don't know the fucking, and I don't know. I guess I don't hang out with a lot of sexual assaultists or rapists or anything. I don't. Sorry about it, but like
I used to, but he's in prison now.
I feel like that's not something that like goes unnoticed. And I know I know like it's tough. I guess I don't know. I've never been raped. I will throw that out there as a caveat. I have never been raped. But I can't imagine that it's easy to stand up and have that conversation and be like, I was raped and by so and so.
It's not.
I mean, it can't. I get that, but I feel like a couple things are usually true. One, if somebody does that once, they'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Generally,
Phil said it's a
if they
power
haven't-
control ego thing. Absolutely. I get that. I understand that. I mean, I get like, I don't understand why people do it, but I understand the kind of psychology, or at least what's being explained to me. That absolutely, if you have the power to hold somebody down and have your way with them, that is a power trip. I get that. I understand that, but it doesn't make it okay. And we can't, if somebody is doing that and you know about it, you gotta fucking stop them.
Yeah.
Period. That's just the way it is. Like fucking, whether it's somebody who is assaulting other service members, whether male or female or children. Like all of these things are happening right now.
Mm-hmm. And I don't care if it's a female doing it to a male, and it happens.
Right.
There are plenty of women who take advantage of their power of position.
What was that? Was that
their
last
positions of power?
Was that last week? Was that last week that gal committed suicide?
That yeah. 2 weeks ago.
Something like that.
I've got
And there's all kinds of stories come out. Well, she was this, and she was assaulted, and she was this, and nothing ever happened. And well, why? Even if she did kill herself, right? Even if she did, the whole thing sounds very fishy to me. But if she was pushed to that point because she was raped and assaulted and all these other things by people she was fucking working with or working for, if they pushed her, that's just as bad as putting the fucking gun to your head yourself.
Yep.
Period.
Yep, exactly.
And that type of behavior shouldn't be allowed. It should not be okay. It should not be commonplace. And I don't know how commonplace is, because I get, well, again, for the most part, especially my time in the Army, I spent in artillery. So I was all male. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on. But the time I spent in the Marine Corps, where I was in aviation and I was around females, and we were professional about it. All of the women Marines I worked with either outranked me or were my subordinate. I was professional too. I feel like I treated them no different than the males. That was my. I don't give a shit who you are, or what color you are, or who you believe in. I don't care about anything. I care about how you perform for me. That was always my mantra as an NCO. You could be a shitbag as a dude or be a shitbag as a female. It doesn't fucking matter. A shitbag is a shitbag, right? Well, I have a job that needs done. I'm going to assign you a task. You need to complete that task. That's the way that the information is disseminated in the military. I don't give a shit about anything else. Like, if you do well, congratulations, you do a good job. You're a good Marine because you do good jobs. Doesn't matter if you're a good Marine because you whatever. All the other stuff should be a moot point. But we seem to kind of be ignoring the fact that this shit is happening, right? And I was trying to look up that story for that gal, but I'm just getting more mad about it, and I just can't. Like, fucking take care of each other. And if you're having an issue, fucking if you honestly, if you are out there right now and you're listening and you are fucking being sexually assaulted and you don't feel like you can go to your chain of command, reach out to one of us. We have
Reach out
people
to the station.
reach out
We
to the
have people,
station,
yeah.
reach out to any of us personally, and we will do what we can to help. But or WTF Nation, go to the main page. If you message the main page and you say my whatever is assaulting me and I need help, I can't trust my EO representative. I can't trust I can't trust my command because he is he's my first sergeant, he's my platoon sergeant, he's my whatever, and
Mhm.
nothing's happening. Get a hold of somebody.
Yeah.
Because people
Anybody.
do care, and we will do everything we can to help. And I'm sure that I speak for everybody at the station that if you get a hold of me or Ice or Spanky or the station as a whole, somebody will do what they can to help you. Please don't think that nobody cares, because we do.
Because we do, for sure. There's
So
someone that's willing to help.
yep. And if you want to,
Don't ever think that there's no one out there, because there's definitely someone here.
yep. And I'm
We are
sure
here.
if you reach out to organizations like the Pink Berets or whoever you feel confident in talking to, please don't.
Please do.
Yep. Don't let it continue, and don't let it be something that consumes you to the point where you're going to
Unalive yourself
yep, exactly.
or unalive someone else.
Yeah.
You're too pretty for jail,
I'm not.
and we would miss you. So reach out and get some help.
Like fucking Phil said, it's all right to go to jail for protecting somebody.
Hell yeah, it is.
Going to jail for sticking up for a woman is absolutely.
I'll wear orange for the right reasons.
Sometimes
For
I do it for
sure.
the wrong reasons, but what's what up?
Not me. I hate orange.
I'm just not.
So today
Mhm.
is.
Yes.
Do you know what today is? I know you know what today is. We talked
I
about it.
feel
earlier.
like you should break the news though.
Okay, I'm breaking the news. Well, it's not really breaking the news. So today is National Vietnam War Veterans Day.
Yes.
Did everybody know that? Hands up.
I knew that.
People putting your hands up. Oh, did you hit your mic?
I did. I'm bad at this tonight. I got this new mic and I've just been hitting my freaking mic stand like it's going crazy.
So apparently, made official through the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition. I can't speak tonight now. Recognition Act of 2017. We honor the great service and sacrifice of our Vietnam veterans through ceremonies and celebrations across the nation today. From February of 1961 through May of 1975, more than 3,400,000 Americans served in support of the U.S. military operations in Vietnam, South Asia. More than 58,000 gave their lives, and nearly 1,600 remain unaccounted for, according to the Defense POWMIA Accounting Agency. And today, a really weird thing happened. So I went by my mom's house, and she wanted donuts. She's 80. She wants donuts. She gets donuts. And when I went over there, she said, I have something for you today. And it was a huge coinky dink. So my uncle, who I do not remember because I was 3 months old when he died, he served in the Navy. He was a Seabee, and he served during the Vietnam War. He came home. He had issues, undiagnosed PTSD, and a few other things. And he unfortunately died in a car accident. Today, she was going through some old items, through some boxes and things, because she's decided to go on the old lady purge. I don't know if anybody else's parents have done this, but it's actually a pretty good idea. So your kids don't have to go through your shit when you die. They go through their shit now and just start giving it to you. So then your kids have to go through your shit when you die.
I started doing that like last week.
So today, when I showed up at her house to give her donuts, this is what she gave me. So this is my uncle, Bill Zeck's hat from when he was in the Navy. And I'm not sure who wrote his name on the inside. I'm sure it wasn't in there when he wore it. But this is actually one of his hats from his time during the service when he was in during the Vietnam War. How crazy is that,
That's
y'all?
crazy. He might actually. Well, I don't know. I don't know where. So in the Navy and the Marine Corps, were they big on like marking all of our shit? Like,
Yeah, but I
so
wouldn't think.
I feel like
well,
they.
maybe.
I don't know. I don't know where they
might have.
mark them. I don't know. No.
I would have thought like maybe inside, like here, maybe.
Well, then when you sweat, it gets on your shit.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I guess they wouldn't see it. Although I did find out, and I was showing you, he had a tiny little head, or I have a really big head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with he had a tiny head.
Yep.
I don't want to say that.
You don't want to. You don't want to admit that you had a big. No, I get it. Well, and maybe it probably shrunk over the years, and it's fine. Things
But
happen.
isn't this so cool? And of all days for her to find this and give it to me.
Oh, Dick said it should have been on the inside. I guess on our soft covers it was on the inside, huh, Dick? On our 8 points.
I mean, this is really old. This is from the 1970s. So
yeah,
who knows? I'm sure my grandma probably wrote this on the inside, or maybe he did.
Maybe he did when he was getting out.
Yeah, just so that But super cool. So it's mine now, and I also have some of his old CB patches and a few other things that were his that she has given me over the years. But this is super special. So I'm really excited. We're gonna get it shaped and cleaned, and then I'm gonna hang it above a picture that I have of him that my mom gave me a few years back.
Phil said check the tag. There's still a tag in it. Phil Leach said check the tag.
Check the tag.
Yeah.
It's very faded. It did.
All right.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything. There's no wording.
It's just negative. It's just blank.
Yeah, it's just white. Yeah, I mean it's old. It's really old. So, but anyway, super cool. And I have a picture of him in his uniform, wearing maybe not this exact one.
Maybe.
Cool.
I don't know.
Might be. I mean, who knows? But it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. And one day, one of my kids will probably think it's pretty cool. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's that.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
And then because March is almost over and we are closing out Women History Month, I have some women's history I'd like to share with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, let me.
I probably might have kind of should have known this before.
Mm-hmm.
But today I was doing a little research on some different things, and something popped up in my LinkedIn feed. And I'm pretty sure one of the people that I connected with on LinkedIn sent it to me. And I was reading that currently 4 branches of the military have 4 stars, women in charge at the moment. Laura Jane Richardson is a 4-star general in the United States Army, who is the commander of the United States Southern Command and has been since October of 2021. Lisa Marie Franchetti is the United States Navy Admiral, who serves as the 42nd Vice Chief of Naval Operations since September of 2022. Linda Lee Fagan is the United States Coast Guard Admiral, who serves as a 27th Commandant of the Coast Guard. And Jacqueline Vandovost is the United States Air Force General, who has served as the 14th Commander of the United States Transportation Command since October 15th of 2021. So we have 4 female 4-stars right now.
That's amazing.
Serving. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. I'm happy at that.
So to close out Women History Month, a little hoorah and a little yay and a little hooah. And I don't know what the Coast Guard says and whatever, but yay!
Yeah, I don't know what they say
Way
either.
to go.
In all fairness,
my daughter should know. I'm sure she does. I don't know if they say anything.
They gotta say
I know
something.
they have like Semper something or something. I don't know.
They gotta say something.
I'm sure there's something. Somebody should know.
I don't know. They're probably so chilled out. They're probably not high speed. They're like, when they say something fun, they're just like, yeah, we'll see you at the bar or something. I don't know.
Flippers.
Oh,
maybe that's what they say. Wee.
Wee.
Like a water slide. Wee.
Oh, who's that? Who's that bro vet on TikTok who does
The one that does the 4 different branches.
Yeah,
and
and he
has
throws
a
the-
little bow for the Navy.
Yeah.
And he does the Coast Guard with their little, and they always have on their water
Yeah,
goggles.
he's got his goggle and flippers on and shit, and then like the Space Force guy's got all the little fingers on his fingers.
He's got a potato.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
God, what
yeah,
is
and
that
he wears
guy?
the little tinfoil hat. He's hilarious.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
I
Yeah, he's
always laugh
fucking
because
funny.
the Navy guy's always trying to have sex with people. He's trying to have sex with the Army guy, but also the Marine guy,
Mhm.
which is pretty fun. And the Marine guy doesn't ever talk. He's always like chewing on crayons and grunting.
Yeah, I bet
And
that's
there's like
basically
subtitles.
how it works.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
They say, "Is there any drugs or alcohol on your boat, sir?"
It's a true story. They do say that.
Yep. Yeah, if it's not, then why the fuck's the point of having a boat if you don't have alcohol or drugs on it? You want to be
Especially if
sober, stay on shore. That sounds dumb.
Speaking of, I actually have alcohol tonight.
Do you? Good for you. I don't.
Yeah, look,
I've Diet
it's
Mountain Dew.
super cool. The only reason I bought it. Are you ready? This is my deciding factor.
Hold on, let
in
me
purchasing
transition
alcohol.
it back to you. So a big picture. Go ahead.
This is my deciding factor. I don't know. Can you guys see that?
There you go. Mermaid bubbly.
Mermaid bubbly mimosa. That was my deciding factor. I stood in front of the cooler at the HEB and I was like, what do I want? Ooh, Pretty Mermaid. That's how I chose what I was drinking.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's what women do sometimes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Mm.
Fuck it.
It's not bad. It doesn't really taste like a mimosa. It tastes like day old stale orange juice with wine in it.
That's kind of
it's
what
not-
mimosas are, aren't they?
It's not very good. Well, a good mimosa is like fresh orange juice. With
Well, yeah.
champagne.
Obviously, I figured nothing's gonna be fresh orange juice coming out of a can.
This is like the Thunderbird of mimosas.
It's the Mad Dog 2020 of mimosas.
There you go. This is the Mad Dog 2020 of mimosas.
Oh,
Which
So-
is also why I'm bright red, if anybody can tell.
well, there you
I
go.
turned bright red. And I haven't had my roots done in about 4 months.
That's
so
why I
nobody
have you
can
on the
see
little
how old I
picture.
am.
I haven't got my
Yeah,
roots
so
done
nobody
either.
can see my roots. It's awful. It's awful. Showing my age. No, it's highlights. It's glitter. That's what it is.
Oh, I didn't. I shared it in the team room, but I didn't get it. I haven't told everybody else that we got a puppy. Everyone knows.
That's right.
Yep, the
you
wife
did
spent on
get
the wife spent on a tear to get a
puppy.
puppy. We did. We finally got a puppy.
Yes, you did.
We did.
Aww.
He is.
What it has a funky name.
It's a shitty.
Yeah, shitty. That's
It's
what
a
they call
shitty.
it,
Yeah, it's a Shih Tzu Yorkie mix. So
Aww.
he's kind of cute. I'll give him that.
Well, duh, he's a puppy. Hello.
Right, that's true. So, but I
don't know
mean,
how many puppies are unattractive?
there's some. There are some puppies that are
Really?
unattractive.
Does he have puppy breath still?
Yeah, because he eats his own shit. So he's got
Not
shit breath.
that.
He smells
No,
like a shitty.
puppy- Cute little baby puppy breath.
doesn't have that.
You know, they don't know.
It smells like poop.
Mm.
But not like real
Alright.
poop, because it's like puppy poop, so it's not that bad. But you know what I mean? It's not like adult dog shit that smells the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
whole house smell bad. It's not like that. So it's not as bad, but no,
Well,
he's
I only have
fine. He's a
one
good dog.
pet with me tonight, and if anybody can see him way over here in the corner where I'm pointing, way over there.
Way back
He's
there.
not happy. Monday they removed his balls, so he's a little mad.
You know, I
at
get
me.
that. I can see that.
He's a little perturbed. He sleeps a lot and he's angry.
I can see that.
I imagine if somebody took my balls away, I'd probably be angry, but I don't know.
You know what? Not so much.
Mm.
Not so much. I guess I didn't lose
So I
the whole
kicked all
balls.
the
I just had them cut. I just had them, dissected.
Yeah, but they just snip. When they do theirs, they just take it.
You
all
know
out.
what? That's probably not so bad. I
Easier
mean,
to crush
honestly, what do
away.
you need them for anymore at that point? I mean,
Well,
really?
true story.
I
It's
mean-
just aesthetics after that, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just empty and like a deflated little balloon.
Yeah, they're
hanging
gonna
there.
lop them off. Might as well just take them out.
He's like, I'd like you to remove the whole thing, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. John
I
Cruck
don't-
my ass. Shit.
I don't know
Lance
if I wanna see
Armstrong
that.
me. I don't care. 'Cause at some point, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't need more testosterone. I already got a beard. What else do I need?
And from what I hear, And when I say from what I hear, I mean from what I see, because I took care of my elderly grandfather
Yes.
before he passed away. Eventually, they'll be down between your knees.
I don't.
Gravity works.
Probably not. Not for me. Not
better
much weight there to worry about. It's all right.
It's not that elastic. It'll be all right.
Dick said it'll make your center of gravity shift.
Really? You think so? Do you know something that we don't know?
I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know. Well, it made Lance Armstrong better at like bicycling.
No, I'm pretty sure that was the doping that made him better.
Yeah, that was chemotherapy. I feel like that's
No. He
Oh,
got in
yeah,
trouble
the
for
actual
doping. Yeah, he was doing the other stuff too.
That's true.
Yeah, remember? He got in trouble.
You know what? It might make my center of gravity shift, but you know what? I know for a fact that my belly is way bigger than my nuts. So if I'm worried about my center of gravity, I can just take care of some of my belly stuff and maybe get it back. So it's whatever. Fuck it. I keep wanting to lose weight, but then my wife made garlic bread, so I was like, oh fuck it. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Carbs. They'll do
I
that
don't
to you.
care. I don't even care anymore. I mean, I do care because I'm fat as fuck, but I also kind of like I want to eat garlic bread. So it's kind of.
But when I went searching for this shirt,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know it's here somewhere. I still have one. I swear. Hold on. I found it way in the back of my closet, with all those other shirts that I'm like, hey, maybe one day I'll fit back in this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is this doing back there? I swear this thing fits me. And I went to put it on, and it was one of those, you stretch it out a whole bunch first, and then when you put it on, it gets stuck, and then you're pulling it. Yeah, this is about a 6-year-old shirt, and it does not fit anymore.
I'm
I'm not happy.
gonna have to get one of those shirts, I think.
They've got some cool shirts. Pink Berets. And people give them crap about their name. I swear. I have heard more jokes about Pink Beret. But you know what? You got to get a name that sticks.
It does
and
stick.
You got to get a name that when people hear it, they know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I think it's great. I think it stands out. I don't think it's something that's girly,
I mean, it's kind of girly.
Ridiculous.
It's kind of
Not
girly,
to the
but it's
point of
also
ridiculous.
it's kind of girly.
Makes its point.
But it's girly enough to know that it's an all women's organization.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no,
if it was mine, I'd make it all glittery and pink and crazy and sparkly. I'm a sparkle girl. It'd have cat hair all over it. It'd be all.
Fucking.
I mean, look, everything I own is pink and has flamingos on it. Come on.
That's true. Yeah, you could be the pink
There's nothing
flamingos.
wrong. Oh, I love flamingos. Flamingos and chickens.
I don't know. I'm. You know what we were talking about the VFW not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a big supporter of the Legion / VFW, both actually. I'm only a member of the VFW. I'm a member of the Legion. So in my job we do a lot of work with the Legion and the Legion Riders, and we do a lot of community outreach stuff with the Legion, and now we're starting to build some bridges with the DAV. Doing some outreach stuff with them, and but we kind of talk about like the same. As is Vietnam Veterans Day, I don't want to be talking shit about Vietnam veterans, but some of them old guys don't have the same ideas about the future as like some of OIF, OEF guys coming out, right?
Well, no.
And some of those guys are back in that old core mindset where. They're kind of stuck in their way, which is fine, dude. It's like, I know my dad he's never going to change the way he is. He's my dad. He's always going to be the same. But, as same as we talk shit about our kids with some of the shit that they fucking pull, but it's nice to see, I think organizations like the VFW and the Legion are great. And they've done so much for veterans through the last fucking 75 years of trying to defend veterans' rights and benefits and whatnot. But it's nice to see now, as the problems are evolving, that organizations are coming up. Veterans organizations are filling up with veterans to try to solve modern day problems.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to see that process that I need to help my fellow veteran is still there. You know, even after we're done serving, we're not done serving. We're still helping each other, and hopefully this new, you know, I look at it in the VFW that I'm part of. There was a very core group of World War II veterans and Korea veterans, right? As they've passed on, you know, those Vietnam guys really stepped up to take care of those positions that were left vacant, right? And now as us OIF, OEF guys and Desert Storm vets start aging in and those guys start aging out, like it's nice to see that kind of progression, like the torch being passed off, right? And you know, well, just the other day there was talk about trying to find ways to suspend veterans benefits, and if you make over a certain amount, then you shouldn't get your disability benefits, and if you have this, if you have that, like, you know, well, we're gonna make TRICARE for life be, you know, this much more. I remember when I first got out and I was on TRICARE for life, copay was $6, and now it's 34 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many more bites are we going to keep taking out of this stuff before it's no longer a benefit? And so we do need organizations like the VFW and the DAV and the Legion and the Pink Berets and whoever else is going to go and stand in Washington and be like, hey, this is fucked. You can't take these veterans benefits. This is fucked that you're trying to defund this part of the VA. This is fucked that, you know, there's no dental for service members. There's no this, there's no that. There's all these issues, right, that still need fought for. And I don't know why that they should just be fucking automatic.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, okay. Like, you were talking about dental earlier, right? Being 90%, you can't get.
Stephanie,
You know what? When we had a couple guys in our program a year or so ago. One of the guys, bad teeth, really bad. Like, he couldn't eat, right? He went to treatment. He didn't really have a drinking problem or a drug problem. He didn't really have too much of a problem. But whilst you're in treatment, you're 100%.
Yeah, and so he got all his other stuff.
He got all of his shit taken care of. He went to alcohol abuse treatment and was there for, I don't know, fucking 6 months or whatever, right? For inpatient and outpatient.
And sitting at 100%.
Sitting at 100%, got all of his shit taken care of, and then when he was all done, he got out, but he quit drinking because he barely drank in the first fucking place. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's always ways around stuff.
But you shouldn't have to fucking do that.
Should not have to put yourself in a drug and alcohol program in order to get your teeth fixed.
Yep.
Because you're sitting 10% away from where they will go ahead and do it for you. That's sad. Or 20% or 30%. I mean, it should just be, you took care of my teeth while I was in. Why do I not have the benefit once I get out?
Right. We had a fucking dude. He was, we had a dude. That's as far as I'm going to get into that. But it's a veteran, and he's been diagnosed with cancer. Right. He came in. He was going through his shit. And while you are going through cancer treatments, you're 100%. And then he was asking me, like, well, so that means I can get my dental and stuff too while I'm doing that? Like, dude should be more worried about fucking fighting cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
he's like, wait a minute, hold on. There's all these other things I can go ahead and knock out while I'm doing this. Yeah. So you were talking about the VFW.
Yeah. Which
is another crazy thing.
Okay.
Coinkydink. So I'm gonna send this to you. Because I was not deployed overseas, not where I qualify for VFW anymore.
Right.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
I do American
whatever.
Legion, it's whatever. But this is one of the other things that my mother has handed off to me. And since you do VFW stuff, you might get a kick out of this. It is the Constitution and Bylaws and Manual of Procedure for the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. From 1977.
Oh, that's cool as fuck. Hold on.
Would you like to have that?
Would I like to have it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna throw it away, I'll take it. But if you're gonna, I think you should keep it.
Get rid of it. It's just a book. I mean, it's just, what am I gonna do with it? Would your VFW like it? I mean,
Probably. Yeah.
cool.
I'll absolutely turn it. Do you know which VFW it came from, or was that from your uncle, or who was that from?
1977. So I'm assuming it's from my grandpa, my mom's dad. So it's got to be from here in New Braunfels.
Okay.
'Cause
Before
he
you
was here in
before you send it,
Texas.
because I will absolutely take it to my local VFW and see if they want to put it like in their little we have like the vaults thing or whatever, you know what I mean, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
cases. But before I do that, see if they want it. If they
Well, it just says published by the national headquarters. I mean, it doesn't say anything about being from a
but still,
local
but you know if
VFW.
you know where it came from, like, hey, this is my grandfather's or whatever. Do you want it? Like,
Yeah, look, and
I'd
he
feel
was a
really bad
lifetime
saying, hey, I
member
found
here.
this, or this is from Texas. Do you guys
It
want
was
it?
just in a bunch of his stuff. I'll ask them first.
Yeah,
But
give them if they don't want it,
if they have
absolutely
it
send
and
it to
they
me.
don't give a two craps, then I'll send it to
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
It's kind of cool. I was read the other day, and I was like, oh wow, there's a lifetime membership fees were like $200.
Mm-hmm. David
And
Cunningham
have
brought up.
been forever, apparently, right? I mean, it hasn't changed, has it?
I don't know. I love David
Oh,
Cunningham's
I don't
comment
know.
right now.
Oh,
Going
what did
back,
David say?
well, he said, but yet our senators and representatives that serve 2 terms in Congress have retirement and medical benefits for life.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, if they're looking to save some money, why don't they cut some of that money off?
whatever.
Get rid of some of their retirement money, some of their benefits. Douche nuggets.
I think just make the fucking not pay them. I really don't understand. I really don't understand about fucking Congress and all that shit anymore. Anyway, because like,
Oh, Dick wants to be a senator.
he should be a senator. He would actually He would. He's exactly.
Dick, are you good with the politics?
No, he's exactly what our country needs, but he's the kind of person there's no way they'd fucking vote for him. We need people
What
in
kind of dirt
Washington.
would they dig up, though? I mean,
Honestly, on Dick, probably not much.
Dick
No,
doesn't have a smear
I mean, unless there's a bunch of shit I don't know about. Like, I've known Dick for a long time. I don't think there'd be much smear campaigning stuff to do.
Oh, good for you, Dick.
But here's the problem. He's going to get there and be there 20 minutes and tell someone to fuck off, and then he's going to get kicked out.
Oh, like me at my last job. Oh,
Yep.
no, wait a minute.
So
no, they didn't fire me. I just made that one lady cry.
But that's honestly the way it would be. It would just get up there and get fucking.
Yeah. Oh, I have skeletons, and they involve just that.
Just skeletons or telling people to fuck off. Well, I mean, but honestly, if you're on a platform like I'll tell them to fuck off, were they going to bring that up and put that in a smear campaign? Yeah, I'm Dick's old boss. He told me to fuck off, and now fuck that.
If
But
that
you know
kept
what?
me
That's
from getting jobs, I would never, ever, ever get a job.
I really think though, and this is I don't want to get too much into politics, especially the way with everything that's been happening in the world the last couple weeks. But I think that's part of the reason Trump was so popular is because he would tell people to fuck off. Basically.
Yeah, but then he went bananas. And
He
bonkers
has
on
been
the
fucking
twit.
all kind of banana boat lately, hasn't he?
He's crazier than he used to be crazy. Like his crazy has gone crazier.
Yeah.
That's a lot of crazy.
I mean, like when he first got elected, he was all like kind of crazy. Like he was like good crazy. And now he's like.
Now he's over the cuckoo crazy. He's so crazy.
I don't
really go onto his little own social media platforming thing that he has, and they've been talking about it on the regular news feeds, like when he was like, I'm gonna be arrested, and all his craziness. I can't. That man, he's
See, and here's the deal. Like, okay, well, I didn't vote for Trump, but I think given the choices, he was better than Clinton. To be honest, there's no way I'd vote for Hillary Clinton. I don't give a shit if it was Hillary Clinton and like a dead person. I'd be like, well, I'll vote for the dead person.
You're like, dead person.
Yep. But I mean, like, I can't like, and I think that there was a lot of sore loser shit, and I think that that Trump really had a lot of shit thrown at him that wasn't appropriate. Shit that doesn't happen that didn't happen to Biden, for example, when he won.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. But I will get back to he is declining, I think. And I think one of the best things that the RNC could do is just kind of be like, hey, dude, you need to shut the fuck up. That's just me. But
I think a couple people need psychological evaluation.
What the shit is, because I'm pretty libertarian on stuff. I'm pretty center on stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And I just can't. Both sides are just so fucking. Whew. You gotta you gotta find somebody in the fucking middle, dude. Like, honestly, fuck. Well, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on half the time, but Biden is about the most center of the politicians as of late, and that's kind of weird. You know, they're fucking calling. Holy shit! Like, what? Ron DeSantis? He just fucking just. Is he brain dead or what the fuck's wrong with that dude?
Yeah,
like,
he's a little bonkers too.
Fuck, dude. But yeah, but then the Democrats were calling. But then the Democrats were calling Bill Maher right. He's too far right. Bill Maher is too far right. Like, really? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I can't. I'm pretty conservative, but I'm not a Republican. I can't stand either side. Both are causing the problems. Exactly.
Well, and I think
Both
that
are causing
everyone
the
felt
problem.
nobody's dead center. I'm probably more conservative than I am liberal, but I'm still pretty. I'm a lot more liberal than the fucking Democrat or the Republican Party is right now.
I'm not conservative at all.
Well, I think that, like, I don't know. I think people should be able to have guns. And I think people should be able to smoke weed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's.
I am very anybody who knows me would say I'm very middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should be able to believe in what religion they want to believe in. I think people should be able to marry who they want to marry. I think people should be able to like who they want to like and love who they want to love with. But I also believe that you should be able to have guns.
Yep. I also like.
But I also don't think that you should be able to have a gun if you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
If there should be better screening for weapons.
He said Heath wants his free pony. I want a free pony too. That's cool.
Oh, Heath wants a pony.
That's 2 ponies. Yep. Government shouldn't be involved in marriage in any form. Absolutely.
Should not be involved. I think that religion and government should be separate.
Yep.
And I think marriage and government should be separate. And I think schools and government should be. I don't think your school should tell your teachers that your kids can or can't pray or just keep it out of your school.
Yep.
It shouldn't be in your school. Your church is at your church. Your school is at your school. It
right.
should not
Unless and if you want to have if there I'm saying then there are church schools, and if you want
if
you
are
are
that
that
your kid to pray at school, send them to that school.
I also think though, but I'm also going to say this is I think that there should be some liberal programs too. I think that there should be free school lunch. I think that every fucking kid in this country should get free lunch.
No child should go hungry.
Absolutely.
No child should go hungry.
And like, I don't know. I don't qualify for free lunches. My kids don't. Right. And I know that you can fill out the paperwork, qualify. Some people are embarrassed to. Some people just don't fucking do it. And I know like my kids at school is pretty chill about it, where they have like everyone scans their little ID. Right. And if there's if you get free lunch or not, it doesn't fucking matter. They don't know. The kids don't know. Right.
We have it that way too.
But there are some schools that don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
freaking embarrassing for those kids.
But I mean,
those kids' fault.
They don't fucking know. Nobody fucking little kids don't know. They don't need to know. Just fucking scan your ID, give them some fucking chow.
I was a big proponent for school uniforms for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it cuts down on cliques in schools. Because then you don't know who has money and who doesn't have money. If the school has a uniform and if kids can't afford that uniform, the school provides that uniform. Uniforms aren't that expensive. It's quick and easy. My kids went to a school for quite a while that had a uniform. And then all the kids are dressed the same. All the kids look the same. All the kids are wearing the exact same clothes, the same brand, the same color, the same style. And it cut down on a lot of that clique stuff. But, you know, it also causes other issues.
You know, I'm actually I'm going to flip side that, because the only way my kids don't look homeless is if by the fucking clothes I buy them. Especially my boys.
True.
Like, oh my God, I really think that you'd have better luck brushing a Wolverine's teeth than getting my kid to comb his hair. Honestly.
My 6-year-old granddaughter, sweet Jesus, rat's nest.
Yep. But I mean, I can buy him some expensive shoes and fucking nice breeches, and then he looks like he's not homeless. So I mean, there's there's that. So I fucking tell those kids.
I coming from a woman who I don't think owns a single pair of pants that don't have holes in them, and I bought them with holes in them. So who am I to say anything?
You know what though? Like my daughter, my one who's gonna be she's a junior now. She'll be a senior next year. Like some of her favorite pants, like don't even have a front on them. There's not even a front to the front of her bridges. It's like from her pockets. There's like it's like dude, it's like fucking strips that are gone. She's like, these are my favorite pants. I'm like, you might as well just be wearing shorts. And then my boys, oh my fuck, it'd be 10 below out, and they're in fucking shorts and a hoodie. God forbid their friends know they own a coat.
The last year I was in the military, I went to a mandatory fun day, and I wore my favorite jeans. In fact, I still own them. They're the ones that I hang up and I go, oh, one day I'll still get back into these. One day I'll fit in these. I will never fit in those jeans again. Never. I don't know why I keep them, but they have humongous holes in them.
Yep.
And I remember my first sergeant walking up to me and handing me like a $50 bill. And I was like, first time, what's this for? Do I need to go get drinks? Are we running low on stuff? What's going on? And he goes, no, my wife asked me to bring this to you because she says apparently we don't pay you enough for you and your children because they're all dressed appropriately, but your pants have holes in them and you need new pants.
I'd have bought new pants, ripped a hole in them.
I was like, okay, thank you. These pants were bought with holes in them, but thank you. I did this on purpose. It's like, yike.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I have pairs of pants I won't wear because they have like dime size holes in them.
I don't know. Most of my jeans have holes in them.
Yeah,
I have a couple pairs that I keep like for specific things for work when I'm supposed to look professional because I can't have holes in my pants, but all the rest of them have holes in them.
Well, it's whatever.
It is what it is. So, I looked up the calendar, dude.
Yes. Yeah, we should probably start wrapping it up, huh?
Yeah, probably. It's getting that way.
All right. Well, do you want to do if
So
you want to do the
I tried
calendar,
to-
I'll do the show lineup.
So I tried to send a message earlier, but of course I obviously sent it to the wrong one.
Of course.
So I'm hoping I got this correctly.
Okay.
I remember something about it before, but I'm not 100% in one of our chats. But Friday Night Freedom, it looks as though Mr. Carl Whalen is coming back again. And he's the founding president of Back the Heroes Rumble.
Yes.
And I want to say I did see a little something about, yes, he was coming back on again, but he was going to be on Friday Night Freedom this time. Because last time he was on like the Monday edition.
Okay.
But if I'm wrong, it's all good.
I'll give you wrong.
It was an oopsie.
We're wrong
on
a
the
lot.
calendar. And coming up on pop culture, he does have pre-recorded coming up this next week.
Oh,
He
yes.
does not have a live show, but he does have pre-recorded. It's a Vincent Araco Vargas.
Yes.
Who I imagine that is going to be a great interview.
Uh-huh.
That gentleman sounds super, super fun.
They actually did that when I was still on the show, and I was looking forward to it. Pretty sure that's one of the ones you recorded, and I was really looking forward to it.
So that's going to be a pre-recorded, and that's all that we have on the calendar as far as guests coming up for the next week. We don't have anybody coming up, not on the books yet. We have some people in the wind I'm waiting to hear back from. I'm really excited about a couple people that we've got hopefully coming on in April. So fingers crossed, everybody's calendars go good. You guys stay tuned. We're going to have some really good people coming in to talk to us coming up in April.
So, because Vincent Vargas was born and raised in San Fernando Valley, California, and he is in the military. He was with the 75th Ranger Battalion, and then he was in the Mayans motorcycle show.
That's what it was.
He was on range.
Cool.
He was on Range 15. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
he was in there. So I mean, like he's kind of a badass. It's going to be a fun interview. I think. I really wish it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be listening on that.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are soccer nights, so I kind of have to listen to him in the car as I'm going.
Yeah.
So, but I'll do what I can. I'm so fucking busy. I can't wait till the school year's over. Well, and
Oh, I know.
track and oh my god. So it's whatever. So anyway, tonight, everyone's been listening to us on the Smoke Pit. with our
Mhm.
lovely, lovely guest, Stephanie. She was amazing. And I really,
Ugh.
I hope that you like reach out to her and or say words to her if you see her. Like, I really do appreciate her coming on. It was great. But anyway, so that was tonight. Now tomorrow night is Sergeant's time with ICE. Talking about all things big Army, National Guard, reserves, retirees, all kinds of fun stuff. He will be bringing you all the latest and greatest Army news. That happens every Thursday right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Now Friday, it's Friday Night Freedom. Kaz and Pookie, they have a great show, and allegedly a guest. We'll find out. Allegedly,
We think
Mhm.
maybe.
Hopefully. Then Saturday, it's Don's day. Day of no scheduled activities. We will not be here. We have the day off. So, and then Sunday, sports bar. They will probably be finishing up the NCAA tournament. I think it's done. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not basketballing. I did have a bracket on his little page, and then I messed it up. I'm pretty sure about it.
I don't basketball.
I don't pay. I don't.
I
I used to love watching basketball.
look. I was very tall as a junior high and high school child, and I basketballed, and I wasn't good, and
Mhm.
they thought I should be good because I was tall.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, so I don't basketball.
You know, I used
Not
to
my
like I used to like the basketball, and then they quit having rules to it, so I don't watch it
Mm.
anymore. I just feel like there's no
Mm.
rules. There's no traveling. There's no whatever. It's just
Or
massive people.
running and dunking and
Yeah,
sweating and falling on the floor, going.
yeah. They're worse than soccer players about
They're
diving.
horrible.
They're
They
bad.
get hurt. They're like, ooh, it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Has a
Anyway,
comedic value.
so that's Sunday with sports bar,
Mhm.
and then with King Smith and Coach. Now Monday, the aptly named Monday edition is on every Monday with Ice and Shipwreck.
Mhm.
They'll be talking about all things current
Mhm.
events. Ice is back. He took a little hiatus, took
He
a little breaky
did.
break, but he is back. He will be, I believe he's back tomorrow.
Guess who's back? Yes, he's back.
Yep. I know he's back,
Ice
but
is back.
really excited about it.
Back.
Really excited about it. I know he had a good break, and he kind of needed one. He does a lot of work around here. A lot of behind the scenes stuff you don't see, so. But
He puts up with us, so there you
yeah,
go.
he does.
That right there is enough.
He puts up with me weekly fucking things up. So, I mean, there's that. So, but anyway, so he will be on Monday night with Monday Edition. Him and Shipwreck talking about current events and all kinds of funny things. It'll be good. It's a good show. Be there. Good way to start the week. Then
Mhm.
Tuesday was Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and his pre-recorded guest of Vincent Vargas. And it's going to be a good interview, good show. Is he doing a live show or just the interview?
Just as far as I know, it's just pre-recorded interview.
Okay,
Interview.
well, either way, I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be good. Then
He's
come-
always good.
come back to us next Wednesday. We don't have any guests.
No, not
I mean-
as of today.
No, don't have anything too cool coming up, but it'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
I'll
Hey,
be here.
Yeah, I'll be here. Hopefully I don't
Yeah,
break
don't
my
fall
foot
again.
again. Yeah, I won't break my foot again.
Jesus.
It's
Okay,
whatever.
Whisper next week the whole show. How's that sound?
No, it sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. You can if you want. I'll turn your mic up so you can
No,
whisper
I'm
the whole
good.
time.
I'm good.
But
I'm good.
yeah, dude, my fucking so I broke my foot. I didn't break my foot. I bruised my heel really bad though. And then on Thursday I had my shot in my knee at the VA. And then they gotta like cut some cancer out of my arm or something. So I have to
Good
go
Lord.
next Thursday. So next Thursday I'll be out getting my leg or my arm chopped off. They
And
have
I
a
was complaining about my boob squish and my uterine biopsy, and here you're just we're just broke.
I
Between the two of
know.
us, we are all kinds of screwed up.
Oh, that was so funny though. When Stephanie was like, "Well, I'm giving my age." I'm like, "Honey, you're as old as I am. I don't know what you're talking about. Like you went in
I'm
like
older
a year.
than both of
Yeah,
y'all,
you're
so
older than both of us, and we're old, dude. Get over it.
Lordy.
We're in our 40s now, I guess. I will be old. Oh my God, my old bones.
Well, a couple weeks back, I decided that I would start closing out the show with a little word of wisdom from some old NCOs and whatever.
Mhm.
And so I reached out to our listeners and I asked them all to send me some things. So tonight, my final words for the night are from one of our dedicated, longtime listeners, Heath Barlow. And this comes from one of his old NCOs. a Sergeant First Class Morales, and he says that he used to say to them, "The hell you know is better than the hell you don't." And those will be my final words for the night.
Those are fucking words of wisdom. I won't leave on that. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want you to check out the Pink Berets on Facebook and YouTube, or not YouTube, Twitter and Instagram. Surprised they don't have a TikTok or something like that. Maybe they're
Not yet.
They're not Chinese spies or whatever. So, but no, check out the Pink Berets. They're great people over there doing a lot of great things. And like I said, if you do need help, please reach out. We're all here for you. And I want to thank everyone for joining. Thanks for being here. And hope everyone's a good night. Shots.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
He looks at me with those eyes wide crying. Gonna hold you in my arms, my darling. You unfold like the bee-stained jacket I left in the attic, collecting our dust. But I can't